All right, everybody, your Soxy Chicks are back. Sorry we missed last week. That is 100% on me because I have been having some days at work. But I am Bailey, joined always by Crystal. So I'm excited to be back. Crystal, and you went on an awesome trip. You got to be in my stomping ground. So, like, how was it? How was Fenway? What'd you do? I want to hear it all.
I did. I had a wonderful time.
Awesome.
Good for me because the White Sox kind of stole that series,
Yeah.
which it was like two terrible teams. So I
Yep.
had no idea, but the White Sox ended up winning in overtime for that game I was at. I was at the
Hmm.
Saturday game. And it was hat day, and it was just a lot of fun. It was really cold and really windy.
Oh, was it cold? Ugh,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, it was like 40 degrees and windy, and I had originally checked the weather, and it was like 60 degrees, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just pack, like, a t-shirt and jeans." And I'm so thankful that I packed a big sweatshirt as well because it was cold. But Fenway was great. It's so small, and I forget how small that place really is
It
compared
it is so
going to, like,
small.
guaranteed rate, which guaranteed rate is huge. So it's definitely like a setback when you go and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like we're all on top of each other," but
Yeah.
it's cool. It's always cool to go to like the old ballparks.
Oh,
And
yeah, absolutely. I
yeah,
went to Dodger Stadium and recently, and I was like, 8 Fenways could fit in this place.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what I said to myself.
No, but it's neat. Fenway is a really cool place, and I'm glad I was able to check it off. Hopefully I can go back because it was fun. And the whole city of Boston was fun. Salem was fun. I had a really good time. I met up with a lot of people. Um yeah, I had a blast. Sadly I didn't get to see Ed, but
Yeah, yeah. Ed was in
love
the
it.
fancy seats, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Hand, just going all fancy. Hmm.
I was just in the bleachers, but I thought that was a good place to kinda sit because we
It's
were
a good
right by the
experience.
yeah, we were right by the White Sox bullpen, which was neat, and Dylan Cease pitched that day, so I was, like, able to get
Mm.
really good pictures. We were right behind Adam Engel, who I love for, probably all the wrong reasons, but that's okay.
It is okay to like somebody for the wrong reason sometimes. It's okay.
Sometimes a girl
Sometimes.
just likes a guy in tight baseball pants.
Hey, everybody complains about Robbie Ray, and I'm like, I'm not complaining. I like Walker Bueller's pants to me are like how everybody should be wearing their pants.
Yes.
Like that's how I feel.
Adam Engel is known on like the White Sox corner of Twitter as dump truck. Um, I think that's
Oh, I love it.
self-explanatory.
Yeah, I
So it's
love
kind
it.
of nice to sit behind him.
So you had good views all around, all around.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, yeah, I'm glad you got to go to Fenway and experience Fenway because I think I maybe took for granted the 2 years that I was in grad school, just like how close I actually lived to Fenway. Like I was like, this is crazy, and it was nice because they had student $9 standing room tickets, so I could just sort of walk over whenever, just flash my BUID, go on in and just take in. So I would just go there like myself sometimes. Like it was nice. I
Mhm.
could just stand. You could stand pretty much anywhere. You just had great views no matter where you wanted. So definitely definitely miss that because I live like not close to Dodger Stadium, and then Dodger Stadium is in a friggin' ravine. So you have to like you have to go all the way up this gigantic hill to like get to where like Dodger Stadium is. It's like my friend came up to me the other day. She's like, "You want to go see Elton John with me?" And I was like, "Okay." I'm very easily peer pressured into things. Like they should know this about me. Like somebody will be like, "Do you want to do something?" I'll be like, "Yeah, okay." So I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go." And then she's like, "It's at Dodger Stadium," and I went, "Oh shit." But I was like, "Oh, great." And then Angel Stadium low key is honestly kind of easier to get to, even though it's
Yeah.
in Anaheim because it's like it's on flat level. The Orange County is easy to drive to, so yeah. But Dodger Stadium is the views at Dodger Stadium are incredible. Like their views are like bar none. But anyways, we should probably get into some news and notes from this week in baseball. So you want to jump in, Crystal?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Um, so we've got some fun news outside of the Tigers. I can't talk today. Oh my gosh, Cabrera became the 18th player in Major League history to record 600 doubles. His next one will tie Barry Bonds on the career leaderboard. So he's really had quite the season so far. You know, he made it into 3,000 hits. He made it into the 500 home run club. Now this, like, he's
like one of the last great, like, all around hitting. Like, he never really had the speed to necessarily call himself like a five-tool player, or the defense really, but when it came down to hitting, he was like the overall, like, complete hitter. Like, when you think of it, like, hitting for average, hitting for power, hitting, you know, getting on base, just an overall amazing hitter. So we're seeing one of the greats, like, end his career really, and ended on his terms, you know, and he's just hitting all of these milestones, and he seems like a great guy. So it's easy to root for him, for sure.
And I know he's up there with RBIs too. I didn't see how close he was, but I know he could potentially break an RBI record for himself this year too.
Incredible. I mean, I just love seeing it come together for someone like that.
Yeah, he's one that I will always want to succeed, no matter where he is. You know, Tigers are technically a division rival for the White Sox, but I will always root for Miggy because he's just such a good dude.
Yeah, he definitely seems like it. And I feel like, going from Cabrera into another person that seems like they've always been a great dude, like the Giants had this big to-do honoring Buster Posey, big pregame celebration. You know, he played his entire 12-year career there, and, you know, like, 3-time world champion, 10, 12, 14. Gotta love those even years. So to see someone like him get the honor too, and somebody like him who ended his career earlier than, like, I think anybody anticipated it, ended on his terms, the way he wanted to go out. 12 years doesn't seem so long, but what you think what you see that he accomplished within those 12 years were truly incredible. And he could have played it. He had an incredible year last year.
He did.
There's no way that he wasn't going to produce again this year, but he just decided that, you know, being a husband and a father at this point was what he wanted to do. And you have to commend that. That's incredible.
I respect that. You know, he was one of my favorite. Like, I have this weird soft spot for the Giants because I loved Tim Lincecum. Now they have Carlos Rodon, and I love Carlos Rodon.
Yeah.
But Buster Posey was always just one of my favorites. I was actually so devastated when he announced he was retiring, and
I was upset too.
Yeah, I wrote this article on Southside Sox, and it was like the millennials' guide to your favorites retiring, because, you know, as a millennial, he was one of those that we watched his entire career, and we were, you know, at that formidable age where we were really paying attention. And I was like, that's one of my favorites. Like, I was devastated with Tim. Now I have to be devastated about Buster. And, you know, I have this weird soft spot love for the Giants. So
yeah, they've got my man Gabriel Kapler, you know, out there looking so good. He looks better now than, like, when I was a teenager, and he looked great when I was a teenager. Like I love Gabe, and he's such a nice guy too. He's like somebody that I think you want to truly root for, which is interesting because there's always, like, I feel like there's this weird black cloud above him, though, because he was the head of, I believe, player development in the Dodger system when all of that went down with that young girl that was sexually assaulted. So that pains me, especially knowing, because there's a part of me that wants to believe that, like, he's the kind of person that necessarily didn't have all of the facts because of who he is as a person. And for years, still to this day, he is a huge champion of women, including spousal abuse, because his ex-wife, before they started dating, she dealt with being abused. And that was always a big charity that he always went towards, was helping women that were abused. So then being caught up in this weird scandal with the Dodgers always felt like not him, in a way that, like, I don't know if there's just more going on with everything in that. So, but I still feel like that's always going to be a part of him. And I hate that it's a part of him because because I would still always root for him because I know he's more than this situation, and I don't even know how truly involved within that situation that he was as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, no, and also like what the hell is it called now? Oracle Park? I don't know. There's so many different
Yeah,
so many name changes. I think when I went, it was like AT&T Ballpark.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful ballpark. Oh my God, gorgeous. So it's it's easy to root for. I feel like I go towards the teams that have these wonderful ballparks that I root for them. Like I'll root for we talked about. We like the Pirates, and I think a lot of it has to do with PNC. It's
Yeah,
like one of my favorite spots.
and like I love the Orioles because their ballpark is just amazing. Like I love that ballpark.
Camden Yards. Oh my God. Yeah, my mom has always like low key been like a big Orioles fan, and I think she's like, I love the birds. I just love the birds. Yeah. So let's see what else we got cooking. The Mets are the first team to win 20 games. They are 22-12 currently. So I guess right now, I mean, I love how some people have been like, my favorite thing on Twitter right now is like they'll post all of the division leaders and be like, oh, and they tell me that money can't buy championships. And I'm like, it's May. Didn't realize that any championships were purchased yet.
Right.
But it's starting to look like money is definitely going to get them this division, probably with ease. And I felt like there is the saying that money doesn't buy championships, but like, hello, 2020 Los Angeles Dodgers, when you have the most talent, that shit's you're probably gonna win.
Yeah.
So
the Mets,
not always, but
they're just hot right now. They're just, it's insane. And they don't even have their best pitcher right now.
That's terrifying.
It's crazy when like Tyler McGill is one of the best pitchers on the Mets on a team that has Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, just
they're going to be good.
Yeah, just think about like you're gonna have like when deGrom comes back, like you have deGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, McGill, and then like they're still waiting on is Carrasco been pitching? Because he's on that. Is he on the Mets? Yeah, he's on the Mets, right?
Yeah, I think he has actually.
Yeah, so like you think about that, that's a pretty damn solid 5. Like
yeah, they have so much talent. It's not even fair, and that's just pitching. Like we're not even talking about like Francisco Lindor. We're not. They're hot right now, but unfortunately, James McCann is out for about 6 weeks. He broke a bone in his wrist.
Did he? Oh.
So he's hoping to be back before. They say that's kind of the timetable for that surgery because he does have to go through surgery.
Yeah.
I think his surgery is Monday. I think that's what I read. But yeah, so he's out for like 6 weeks. But
I don't think they're gonna miss him.
I will say the Mets do not appreciate James McCann like I do.
Yes.
I love James McCann. I want Mets fans to be nicer to him. Like as someone who has been watching and rooting for the Mets this season, please.
Yeah.
Love him. He's good.
Yeah.
I'll
have a soft spot for the Mets too, because that's my cousin's team. And I've seen my team win so many times. I would love to, have her at least once in her lifetime. See, especially because like that's the team that her father taught her, and her father since passed away. And so like, you want these people that you love and care about to experience something that you've gotten to. Like I'm very, very fortunate that I've not only experienced it once in my lifetime, but at this point I've experienced it 4 times. Yeah. And it's crazy to me. Like I don't take any of that for granted. I feel like there's so many people on Twitter that do. The Red Sox are struggling. They had a great game sandwiched between a shit game, little like shit sandwich. It was like great game, shit, great. They look like they're starting to hit. And if they start to hit, things will actually fall into place for this team because they are so much better, just like your White Sox are so much better than how they have been playing to this point within the early parts of this season. Again, it is a long ass season. I'm pretty sure going into the All-Star break last year, the Atlanta Braves were under 500 and then they won the World Series. Like anything can happen in this, like championships are not won in April. Or May, they're truly not. So anything can happen for both of our teams. I think in the end it will play out. But at this point, it's like, if I lived through, and I've seen 4 championships, but like in my lifetime, I've also lived through terrible teams. Like, people don't understand that. Like, you'll get old men that are like, you didn't live through 67 or 75 or 86. You don't know pain. I'm like, I lived through 2011 and 2012. Like, I know what pain is. I lived through 2020. Like, I know what a terrible Red Sox team looks like. Yes, I've also seen 4 championships, but you, old man, you've also seen 4 championships. Just because you've lived through a little bit more pain than I have, like, doesn't make any pain that I feel towards this team like invalid, which they try to make it seem like it is, and I hate that.
Suffering is not a competition, and I hate people that like want to gatekeep suffering. Like,
Yeah.
why? We're all in this together, bud.
Yeah. It's like we all are suffering right now. Sure, I've like been lucky enough that like I've seen 4 championships, but it's not as if like I've also not suffered with this team and gotten frustrated with this team, because like I have in terrible, like, my God, like the collapse of 2011. Holy shit. That's how I can say that championships aren't won anywhere. The Red Sox were like the best team in baseball until September and had one of the most historic collapses in like baseball and missed the playoffs. Like, yeah, like I know what it feels like. And then the fiasco of 2012 with Bobby Valentine, like, they were just terrible from the jump. That was just a team that was like way too talented to be that shitty, but they were that shitty that year.
Yeah. I also will say it's almost harder on people that do cover this sport, especially if you cover a team that you like. I cover the White Sox, you cover the Red Sox. Anybody can just turn off the TV, zone out, not care about the game, but you're sitting there not to like be woe is me. I'm a baseball writer, but like you have to watch this. Like tonight, I imagine the White Sox will once again get pounded by the Yankees, but I still have to write that. I still have to do the stats behind that. And it sucks because it's so demoralizing after a while. Like, if you're on a big losing streak and you have to cover this team, you're like, I don't want to do it, but this is my job.
True. And the Yankees being good just doesn't make sense to me. That I feel like there has to be some sort of like fall off soon enough, because it's truly not making sense with how good they are. So I don't know. I'm waiting for the fallout. It would be fantastic. Maybe tonight. Go White Sox. Go White Sox. But it's funny. I had some guys come on. Part of my job is I give tours at Paramount. So I had this group of 6 guys come on my tour, and they were a bunch of Philly bros, but they were like lovable and fun. And they travel. So every year they do a big baseball trip. And this year they were going to LA to see the Phillies play the Dodgers. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm from Boston. I'm like a big Red Sox fan. He's like, oh, well, we always have something in common. We hate New York. Just like that. He said it just like that. And I was like, good. I was like, I think we hate different New Yorks. I think you might hate the Mets and I may hate the Yankees, but if you hate both of them, then that's fine, because I hate one of them, But I hate the Yankees. As long as the Yankees don't win the World Series, I'm fine. But I think the other team in New York is better, so it's fine.
I do. It kind of crushes my spirit because my son is playing, Little League Baseball, and his team right now is the Yankees. So I'm just painful. It hurts. It hurts to cheer. So it's really just like me cheering on. Like, I've learned the players' names now, so I can be like, "Oh, go CJ!" Like, awesome hit.
Yeah.
So I don't have to like physically say that.
Yankees. I like it. I like that. That's a good way of going about it. Not being like, "Go Yankees," no, and then throwing up a little bit in your mouth. Oh God. But yeah. And then we've got some others. So the Cleveland Guardians had their COVID-19 outbreak. Welcome, because the Red Sox have always had that, it seems. They postponed a game in Chicago. It hit most of the coaching staff. Also, Giolito is out with COVID-19. So it's just crazy how there's been COVID outbreaks at my work right now. And I've hit the point where I'm like genuinely almost to a point that I was like, am I immune to COVID? Because like I don't understand how I haven't gotten it yet. And like we're tested frequently. Like one of the girls that we worked with like she all texted everybody. She's like, "Oh, I just got COVID," and I was like, "Holy shit!" We were in her car on Saturday, and my other friend was like, We were in the car." She's like, "I shared a drink with her." I was like, "Girl, well, that's on you." but like we're still like testing negative, so it's wild to me. But it does prove how quickly it can spread when you're around so many people. Like this entire now spreading from like Cleveland, and then you said Lucas Giolito's getting it, so you're hoping that nobody else on the White Sox are going to get it. It's still very much here.
Oh yeah,
and it's not going away.
In a pandemic. Also, I have questions for your friend. Anyway.
Yeah.
But in better news, Shohei had his first career I swear I can't.
It's fine. It's a Saturday where we're blah.
First career grand slam for Shohei.
I'm kind of shocked that this was the first one. I remember seeing it. I was like, oh shoot. I was like, good for you. But it's funny because sometimes it just like doesn't happen for people. I remember like Jason Varitek was like almost done with his whole career and then hit his like first grand slam. And I was like, what? And then you get people like, I think Nomar Garciaparra hit like 2 in a game once. Yeah. So I'm just like, it's so weird how like some guys, it just doesn't happen for them like ever maybe. And then like you just get other guys where it's like, oh yeah, I just hit grand slams on the regular.
Yeah. Oh,
but Shohei. What was that? Sorry.
Pete Alonso had his first one so far this season not too long ago. I was watching that game. It was very exciting.
Oh, and your polar bear got it.
But yeah,
so that
super happy for Ohtani.
Mm.
I just love him.
Oh, Shohei is just like, look, I mean, come on. I got my Shohei pillow.
He's so much fun. I could watch him.
I have these pillows, like they're clearly like right here sitting on my little couch. One of my friends walks in and is like, who is this man on your pillows? And I was like, I'm like, this is why baseball needs better marketing, because I'm pretty sure if that was LeBron James, my friend would know who LeBron James was. But the fact is that you don't know who Shohei Ohtani is. Get your shit together at Major League Baseball. I'm sorry. In fairness, I might be giving her too much credit. She probably wouldn't even know who LeBron is. But most people would know who LeBron is. So I'm also saying, like, come on. Like, let's give some Shohei some love, MLB. Like, do it up. Do it up. He's great. And then, so some other interesting news is like on Monday, MLB announced that they would once again be baseball played in London. There will be games played in the upcoming 2 seasons, as well as in 2026. And it comes as MLB is aggressively trying to grow baseball at an international scale with initiatives like what is this? I haven't actually heard about this. What is the Home Run Derby X?
So, yeah, I was trying to look this up too.
That's kind of cool. I mean, it already sounds cool. So they've got a good name going for them. Let's see, Derby.
So it's July 9th in London.
Okay.
It's inspired by the Home Run Derby, obviously. 4 teams representing the Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, and Cubs will be competing in this tournament.
Okay.
For this Home Run Derby X.
All right. I mean, I'm all for growing the game, but I thought that London series, because it was Yankees Red Sox, man, that series was ass. Like there was so many runs scored, like it was obscene, and I felt like both of the teams just looked like they were ragged, like just completely run ragged. Like you're asking them to like go to just like a vastly different time zone and have like 0 adjustment time to then just like play baseball. That counts. Like these games counted.
But they are also doing this this is a global thing, this Home Run Derby X. They're also doing it, obviously London, like we mentioned. They are doing it in South Korea. And they will be doing it in Mexico City. All of these are going to be later this year. Cool. So that's kind of neat that they're doing this.
Oh, I'm for any way to expand baseball and get other people involved, like not even on a global, like it's like great that we're trying to do it on a global scale, but we also need to do it like at a home scale type situation too, because like there's just especially there's just a problem with like no outreach in like inner cities. I know there is the RBI program, which is fantastic. And I know that like someone like CC Sabathia really tries to, and now with CC Sabathia actually being hired to work in the commissioner's office, I think is just a great thing for the outreach of people beyond, you know, the scale of like what we see as the faces within baseball, because I think we need to just really outreach and show like these young African-American kids that like baseball is a viable sport for you to play as well. It might not give you the satisfaction and the gratification that immediately that like a football or a basketball will, but like if you love this sport, you can be richer than both of those sports. Just saying.
That's what I love so much about Jackie Robinson Day. CC Sabathia was doing that with kids from different, you know, New York neighborhoods. That was really neat. And I feel like he's one of those that can grow that sport and make it more accessible. So.
Yeah. Same with Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson was I actually went to Jackie Robinson Day at Dodger Stadium. Just happened to work out that day fantastically. And Curtis was there, and I love him. I've loved him for years back, you know, when he was on the Tigers, and just I didn't expect to see him there that day, and I got so excited. I was like, oh my God, there he is. Like, there he is. So yeah, like these are the type of people that we need to help grow our sport, like on the home front, really, which I think is really important. But yeah, of course, always awesome to see it get a global scale too. I'm so for it. Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, and we had our first solo no-hitter.
Yes, had to clarify.
Yes, because the Mets had their what do we call it? Combined. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. It has been a day for both of us. You're stumbling. I can't even think of words. Like that. That's what it is.
We're a mess.
Woo. Yeah, so that's exciting. But this is the crazy thing about no-hitters is just like Reed Detmers has a no-hitter, and Pedro Martinez or Roger Clemens.
22 with a no-hitter under his belt already now.
It's wild to me how crazy no-hitters just can be too. And or just how crazy that like no hitters seemingly happen pretty frequently, but then it's been I think a solid decade since we've had a perfect game, and just how difficult the perfect game is. It's just like crazy to think
Carlos
about it.
Rodon was so close when he had his no-hitter. He was so close to that perfect game. That's the only one I can think of. Even
what was the issue? Did he have like one walk, or was there an error made?
Yes, Roberto Perez stuck his big old foot out and he hit his foot, so he walked. And that was like one of the last at bats. That was in the 9th inning. And I think they were like 1 out away from a perfect game and a no-hitter. He got the no-hitter, but I was
mad.
Very, very angry.
I don't blame you. Especially if it's like one of your guys. The Red Sox haven't had a no-hitter since John Lester in 2008. And in that year, that season, they were also, Clemens is not Clemens. Apology. You're also a piece of shit, Clemens, but in different ways of being the piece of shit that is Schilling. Outside of being a piece of shit, then we could have had 2 no-hitters in 2008 because Schilling was like an out away, and he shook off Veritek. And you just never shake off Veritek. People should know this. And yeah, he like lost in the 9th inning. He lost the no-hitter. So Veritek could have almost had 2 no-hitters that one season. And Veritek is tied with Carlos Ruiz as the most ever no-hitters caught. But fucking Schilling fucked that up. He could have been by himself with the most ever, because I'm pretty sure that 4. Veritek has caught Nomo, Lowe, Buckles, and then Lester. And he could have almost caught the 5th with Schilling. But.
Well, nobody cares about Curt Schilling. He's trash.
No, but it would have helped my Veritek.
Well, I know.
that would have been the only good part about it.
For that, I feel bad, but Curt Schilling is garbage.
Forget Schilling. The little definition of trash.
So the Brewers, sneaky good Brewers, they've been kind of on a roll lately, and then Christian Yelich hits for the cycle against, that's the Reds, but still he hit for the cycle. That was a good game. I was watching a little bit of that.
I'm pretty sure this wasn't his third career, and they were all against the Reds.
I think so. Yeah, I think I did see that.
Like that is like how does that happen? Like hitting once is cool, hitting twice is great, but three times, but then all three of them are against the same opponent. That
Yeah.
is crazy. Like
He's
that is
back
absolutely.
though. He's kicking
I'm
butt.
so happy. I'm so happy. Like because I was like but it wasn't even like his last season was bad, but then when you
No.
just go from like his 2018, 2019 were just absolutely incredible. I thought he should have been back-to-back MVP.
Mhm.
Like absolutely. If he didn't have that like wrist injury to end 2019, I think it's easily a back-to-back. I don't think Bellinger stands a chance if that injury does. I mean, he was still better than Bellinger
Yeah.
even with that hand injury. But hey, and I'm not even sure. I haven't checked in on Bellinger. Is Bellinger dog shit still? Because
You
like
know, I
I
haven't
feel.
heard anything good about
Let
him.
me see. I'm
So
gonna look up Cody Bellinger fan graphs. Let's see where we're at, Cody, because the dog shittiness is just it was off the charts. Oh, he's not quite dog shit, but he's a 92 WRC plus.
yeah, he's not had a good few years. That's for
No,
certain.
it's literally like his 2020 was fine, but his 2021 was one of the worst in baseball, and
Really
he's pretty terrible right now. He's 198 average, 262 on base. That is terrible. How is he at a 92 WRC plus with such a terrible OBP? He must have run into a couple. Yeah, he has 5 home runs. That's why the WRC plus isn't completely terrible. So he's run into a couple of home runs, but that's been about it. Like a 405 slugging. Oh my god. How like it's like impregnate a supermodel and just she sucks out your soul, apparently. Because what is going on with Cody Bellinger? Woo! Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Poor Cody, I guess. But at least Yelly's back because I love me some Yelly.
Yeah.
What the hell? The Astros have just been killing it.
They have, unfortunately. I was really hoping that it wasn't going to play out that way because I really needed them to just not be good this year. But
It's interesting how they're still good with losing like vital, like, like they say they're like, oh, okay, you can go off and like sign these contracts. Like we'll somehow just like be able to like replace you guys without any issue and like not really skip a beat, even though it is hilarious that like they've gone to the World Series like 3 times, but they only have one championship to show for it. And it is in the year that it's like, y'all cheated like some mother effers, like the worst cheating of the worst cheating. So had they won, in 19 or in this past season too, you would maybe be able to like, oh, maybe they're a little more legit than we ever thought. But then just going on an 11-game win streak, you're like, God damn it. Like maybe they are good. And how are they still so good? It's crazy.
we're going to come right back to this Bryce Harper note because we were just talking about Astros. I should have just put this next. But Yankees GM Brian Cashman had a lot of things to say about the Astros recently. He ripped the Astros owner, Jim Crane, after Crane compared the Yankees' $100,000 fine for decoding signs in the replay rooms in 2015 and 2016 to the sign stealing scandal for the 2017 World Series with the Astros. And Cashman said, I'd say it's called deflection, him trying to equate probably an equivalent of a parking lot ticket to maybe 162 felonies. I don't think anybody's going to buy into that stuff. So you know what? Bravo, Brian Cashman. I don't like your team, but like, yes,
Yeah.
Queen, go off.
Yeah, it is so true because like no matter what, like the Red Sox had like their own little like scandal in like 2018, but like what they did also they proved that it was impossible to do in the playoffs because of just like more eyes on everything.
Mhm.
And then just people being like, "Oh yeah, look at like the Red Sox cheated." And I was like, "The Red Sox didn't cheat on like the level they were banging trash cans for Christ's sakes." Like, I'm sorry, like try to be like discreet about shit, Like cheat. It's fine. Everybody's doing some sort of cheating.
Yeah.
But there's blatant cheating, like a bang, bang, bang. And then there's like actual, like real cheating. Like the cheating that's like, trying to steal somebody's sign. Like, who cares? Like, just different levels. So yeah, again, I hate the Yankees. I hate Cashman. But yeah, it is kind of funny where it's like, oh, sweetheart, like you think what we did and what you did, it's on the same level. I feel like the Astros organization as a whole is just got so much more flack because they just never apologized for what they did. Like, had you just said, my bad, you caught us, shit, we'd be like, all right, you guys tried and you failed. And I mean, they succeeded and their cheating got them a ring, but then it's still like, okay, you got caught. Just admit that you got caught type of a situation rather than being like doubling down. Like, why are we doubling down right now? I think that's why we sort of put the Astros as like the villain, is because of all the doubling down.
Yeah. They were just sore winners about that entire situation. So
yeah,
that was disappointing. But I'll go back into this Bryce Harper news. He was diagnosed with a small tear in his right ulnar collateral ligament. So he can't throw.
Yeah.
But he is going to just stay designated hitter.
Yeah, that's what that works out that the National League got the DH because they'd be screwed otherwise. Because that's what they did with when Shohei couldn't pitch for that season, but he just DH'd the entire time. So yeah, the DH can really be helpful now. It's crazy that like what is with like will he might need Tommy John, like who the hell knows? And it's crazy that I've always talked about like I've said this on multiple podcasts. I've probably said it on some other times that my boomer take is always like the babying of these pitchers. And it's like back in the day when they just went out and like aired it out and threw like at least 7 innings, they weren't injured or seemingly as injured as they are today, where it's like they're babied and their UCLs are just snapping off. And it's crazy to me that it's happening so frequently. It's like par for the course. It's like, oh, you're throwing a little bit. We got to get that TJ. Like, it's great. I just don't really understand like why it's so much more prevalent today than I feel like it ever has been.
Yeah, like it is. Just injuries in general have been so bad.
Yeah, so true.
Who knows?
Oh, and then we got some other good news. Albert Pujols passes Barry Bonds in the top 10 for all-time game appearances in Major League Baseball. So it's crazy because I just remember, like I sit here talking to you all at the age of 32, and I remember being 14 years old and watching Albert Pujols play in the World Series against my Red Sox. Yeah. And he's still playing baseball. Like, just when you think about that, like I was a literal teenager, like freshman in high school when Albert Pujols, and he was already in the league for a few years at that point.
He's been there for a while.
Yeah, and he was a superstar in 2004. And now
he just turned 42 this year.
Crazy.
And I think about me, almost 35, like breaking a hip out there, and he's 42.
Yeah, and thankfully, again, the DH really helps in the National League with somebody like him as well. Like, just he can go out there and he can continue to hit. He's come out and he said this is his final season. I'm glad he's ending his final season where it all began, and hopefully, the Cardinals can be competitive this year for not just the city of St. Louis, but for Albert Pujols to go out on a high note.
Yeah,
like I would love that.
In stupid news, Trevor Bauer's hearing to appeal his 324-game suspension is scheduled to begin May 23rd. I don't really know what case he's got. I mean, if MLB really dug, then I don't see him having a real case.
I love that this is a case where it seems like Major League Baseball did their due diligence, which I'm very proud of, but that they seemingly did a better job than our justice system in figuring out what occurred, because getting this type of a suspension was unheard of. And then especially it's like you'll still get the people, it's like, oh, like criminally he didn't do anything wrong. It's like, but the fact is, like, what did Major League Baseball say see that like our justice system didn't see, to say like, oh, all of this that occurred, yeah, you shouldn't ever pitch in our sport ever again, versus like the other people being like, you know what, it's fine, you just go off and you do your thing, you live your life, Trevor. Like,
I really, really, really hope that some of that evidence MLB came out with comes to light.
I would love if like this trial, like
Yeah.
we've seen this Johnny Depp like Amber Heard trial be like on court TV. I would love if like, I know it's not going to happen, but I would love if like we could see like this play out. I would just, you know, or I mean maybe we will. I mean, there's a part of me that doesn't want to know what happened because I think it's like very, 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 very terrible. But there is also the curiosity of like, how bad was it that, you know, people were like, yeah, no criminal charges should be come against you, because then it's gonna just make me angry too, though, because I know it's bad, like it's bad, bad, like it's terrible. And
I was just gonna, I don't think it'll ever really be fully released because that is so triggering. And you know, we talk about growing this sport, and you're gonna just completely ruin it for, I feel like, so many, mostly women, but just victims of sexual assault, domestic violence. I feel like it's just gonna be incredibly triggering for, you know, survivors that are also baseball fans like me. I could imagine it being very triggering. So I don't necessarily want to hear it because what we've already heard is awful enough.
Or just, I just don't know what we've heard, how you can look at that and be like, that's fine. And like, that's pretty much what has been said. Or that people can read and understand what he did and be like, buy those like free Trevor Bauer shirts on his, like how can you think any of what happened was okay? Or how you can think that anything of what happened was like, because the idea of people will be like, well, she went into like wanting some rough sex. Cool. If that's what you like, that's what you like. There is a difference between rough sex and what had transpired.
You do not fracture someone's skull. That is not something you consent to, especially when she's passed out. You can't consent when you're passed out in the first place. You're not going to consent to having your skull fractured.
Yeah, no. So the fact is that these people can just think that this is something that is okay is just like, that pains me on so many levels, because there are people that think that this is fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, like what are we as a society if we think that this is how we can not just treat women, like anybody, like how you believe that this is how any human being should ever be treated. Like, that terrifies me. But anyways, let's like try to, well, we're not going to end on a good news, because another piece of shit is back in baseball, Robinson Cano. But like, Robinson Cano at least is just a dumbass cheater. There's that. Robinson Cano is hurt himself. He has not hurt other people. He's just stupid.
But now he's going to the Padres.
And do we think that Robinson Cano with any juice in his system is going to be good? I mean, cool, San Diego, if you think that that's going to somehow help you. Cool.
Hey, whatever. I don't cheer for the Padres. I'm not going to watch them all that often. So whatever. You do you, guys.
You keep trying. You live in paradise. You have a great ballpark. You want to bring Robinson Cano's cheating butt? Cheat away. Enjoy it.
Yeah. We are really ending on bad news. I'm trying to think of like something else that we could just talk. Maybe we'll just quickly go over the divisions after this.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I just covered this. In fact, if you guys go to my Twitter, it's my pinned post right now, is this Brian Ball lawsuit. It's pretty awful, to say the least. So Brian Ball is suing the White Sox organization, namely Rick Hahn and Ken Williams, over an unlawful termination. So Brian Ball had been with the White Sox for 20 years. He was hired in 2000, so he was there for, 2005, World Series championship. He was there for the 2011 All-Star game. He's been with them forever. He was the assistant next to Herm Schneider. Whew. And then when Herm retired in 2018, he was promoted to head athletic trainer. There was news that came out that in 2018, people like Rick Hahn and Ken Williams learned that he was actually gay. And so from then on, they kind of said, well, you can't like physically work with the players. You just need to oversee other trainers working with the players.
Really?
Then, yeah. So then
it
gets worse. It gets worse.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm ready.
So 2020, he is a victim in a violent carjacking.
Oh, Jesus.
So Rick Hahn basically says, your job is secure, but I need you to go get checked out by a psychotherapist, and then you can return. You know, your job is still here for you, kind of thing. So he gets cleared August 28th. This was July 17th with the carjacking. He gets cleared August 28th. Rick Hahn says, just kidding, I'm not bringing you back. And so then he's kind of in limbo. And then October, I think it was like 22nd, 23rd of 2020, he gets a letter basically saying, hey, we're releasing you. Your last day with this organization is October 31st, 2020. You have until November 7th to sign and return this. They did give him severance because his contract was good through the end of October 2021. So he did get that severance pay, and I'm pretty sure he got his benefits. But he gets fired for this, and he kind of has no idea why. The White Sox were like, oh, this was just strictly performance-based. But I was like, he's been with you for 20 years, and suddenly this is like a performance-based thing. Something smells a little fishy here. And then December 2020, he gets a call from like a higher up saying, well, you got fired because you were gay and old.
Wow. Jesus, wow.
Yeah, that was basically it. And
sue the shit out of them.
And in the meantime, Rick Hahn is trying to say that there was like this gambling addiction going on, and it was interfering, and that's why he got fired. But somebody else is like, no, it's because you're gay.
Yeah, if you were a straight man and you were gambling, they'd figure out some shit. Like, do the shit that Tony La Russa has done?
Yeah, right? So that kind of hits, and they basically, I guess, kind of in the front office were like, well, we're going to hire somebody younger and straight and doesn't have any of these demons and blah, blah, blah. So they hire this like 38-year-old guy that's straight, and he takes over January 2021. So yeah, he's suing the White Sox, which is incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah, good for him though. Like, sue the shit out of them. But have any of the players stuck up for him at all? That would be great if they did.
No one has commented on anything. This is very new. Like, this broke Tuesday.
I would love if some of the players came out and said something.
Yeah, and I hope they do, because there are still quite a few of them that were even there just in that 2020 season. The last time he was there. So, I mean, we'll see. It's still developing. I'm going to be following it pretty closely for Southside Sox.
Good. But I love, like, if we go, like, all statistics aren't real. You could put 10 people in a room and all 10 people could be straight, all 10 people could be gay. But statistically speaking, the idea of the 1 in 10. So just think about how many gay men there are in Major League Baseball. And then this is how you treat one that is like strong enough to come out and say this about himself and like live his authentic self. And you're going to fire him, like, because this is his lifestyle and this is who he is. It's like, oh my God. And especially like you say, 20 years. And especially if his job performance was not lacking in any way, you're going to make up a gambling addiction just so you can shit can him because you just are. What are you terrified? I love the idea of like I have friends that are gay and bi, and I'm like, I'm gonna go into a room with them, and what am I terrified that because they're gonna hit on me? No, that's not exactly what is gonna happen. So like, what are you terrified of is going to happen in this situation? Is he going to touch your players and suddenly they're gay? That's not how that shit works. So
Not
it's hilarious.
contagious.
Yeah. So it's hilarious to me that like, what makes you uncomfortable? Like, what are you hiding, Rickon? Like, why are you scared? Do you like him a little?
And
Just a projection?
even if there was a gambling issue, like you said, that's
The shit
nothing.
that Tony La Russa got another DUI, like right before taking over the job as the manager of your team.
They knew about the DUI at the time he was hired too.
So yeah, so you're just literally firing someone because you don't like the way that they live. And that is so awful. It's just like with women. It's like you don't want women in your sport because they're not straight white men. It's like, okay, why does it have to be straight white men? Why can't it be anybody who just happens to love baseball and knows baseball and understands baseball? Like, I understand that it's definitely rooted in the straight white man. Like it took so long to actually have an African American man in this game, and then it took so long to have anybody of color in this game. So it definitely is rooted in all of that, and that's terrible. And if we're trying to grow this game and expand this game by telling someone because of their homosexuality that they're not allowed in this sport, that is like taking it 18 steps backwards. And that is so terrible. It's terrible for any person that's queer. It's terrible for any woman that wants to be a part of the sport. And we say, you have people like Aubrey Huff that come out and say, oh, why should a woman tell me how to swing a bat? Has you ever played baseball? Like it's just so it's disconcerting. Oh my God, Aubrey, sorry I even mentioned it. It makes me want to vomit. It's just these people that, like, I don't know why you would want your sport to not have more people involved and more people of every race, of every sexuality, of every gender, like on the spectrum. Like people are this wide, beautiful spectrum. And why don't you want your sport to accept that? It's just insane to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Crazy. But go this guy. I hope he takes him to the damn bank. Get your coin. Get your coin, sir.
I really wonder if this is the end of Rickon's reign.
Maybe.
Because this is pretty damning.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the things are things that he allegedly said. It's pretty bad. Him and Williams both. I feel like if any of this is true, their job should be on the line. They more than on the line. They should no longer be working as general manager or assistant.
Yeah, that's awful. Terrible. What is isn't you still have that same guy as the head of everything, the baseball ops guy, right? Who's that? Yeah, what is his reactions to all this? Because with him being like a minority within this sport, or is he just like, I'm not about this shit? Yeah, it's crazy.
Who knows? Like I said, but not a lot has been commented. And like I said, it's still coming out. It was still pretty breaking. The Athletic broke the story.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah, but so we'll see. I feel like we'll see in the next couple of weeks what's going to happen. I feel like they're just going to settle it because that's what you do when you want things to go away. But we'll see.
All right. So yeah, I guess we could just end off with the standings. They're going to make me angry. They're going to make me very angry because the Red Sox are worse than the Orioles. So that's fun.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, the Yankees clearly taking that 24-8 with the best record right now.
I hate it.
And then Tampa Bay's right behind them. Tampa Bay's had a really good season.
I never understand how Tampa Bay's good. The hell. But anyways, okay, yeah. And the Toronto kind of sucks. Like, the hell is going on? This isn't how this shit is supposed to be happening.
No. Oh, yeah, and then Baltimore and then Boston. That's rough.
Come on, boys.
Let's see, we go to the AL Central. Minnesota leads that. Chicago White Sox and Cleveland Guardians are tied, 15-16. And then Kansas City and then Detroit. Detroit, I thought was going to be really good. They looked really good on paper. They're 11-23.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think their time will come.
Yeah. I didn't think they'd go super far this year, but I thought they would be better this year. Like next year, I see them really contending. But I thought they'd be better, at least than the Royals and the Guardians. But, so AL West, Houston, they actually tied with the Mets for records. Or no, sorry, they are above the Mets. They're 22-11 right now. The Mets are 22-12, but so close. But yeah, then the Angels right behind them. Mariners, not too bad. And then Oakland, and then poor Texas Rangers.
They're even worse than the Red Sox.
Yeah, yeah. Red Sox are 12-20, Texas 13-18. Obviously, Mets are taking over in the NL East. Phillies are right behind them. Atlanta, okay. And then the Marlins, and then those poor Nationals, they are 11-23. They are having a terrible, terrible start. And I really thought they would be better. But here we are. NL Central, Brewers are kicking ass. 21-12. St. Louis is right behind them. Somehow Pittsburgh is over the Cubs, which, hooray. And Cincinnati is up to 9 games now that they've won.
Woo!
Reds are going streaking. They're 9-24, and the Cubs are 11-20, so they're
getting there.
They're on the Cubs' tail, which is sad to think. But and then finally in the West, Dodgers are up 20-11. San Diego right on their tails, 21-13. Then the Giants are kind of middle child there. Somehow the Diamondbacks are above the Rockies.
Crazy.
Rockies are 16-16.
Like the Diamondbacks being within 3 of the Dodgers, like that's crazy. Yeah. I'm here for it though.
Pretty wild. So
yeah, so we'll see how the week plays out. I'm hoping that my boys can go do a little bit of streaking. Your boys as well.
My boys are up 1-0 right now in the bottom of the second.
Hell yeah. So. Go White Sox.
Please. Oh my gosh, I can't take another losing game when I'm covering them. Last night was bad enough.
Yeah, I don't think the Red Sox have won a series yet, so would be lovely if that could happen.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure they have not.
No. Yeah, it's been fun. But yeah, so that was this week's Soxy Chicks. Sorry I had to be a day early. Your girl got to go to brunch tomorrow.
We're gonna have drunk Bailey if we did it on Sunday.
Oh my God, you would, because bottomless mimosas. Yes, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. So yeah, thank you for pivoting, doing a day early. Thank you for anybody that has been watching, listening to us, supporting us. We absolutely love it, and thank you. And go Sox!
Yes, both teams, go Sox! All right, see you next week.